Hello, and today I'm going to show you how to clean an over-under shotgun. Although there is no specific way to clean an over-under shotgun, I'm going to show you some tips and my personal strategies that I use to clean my gun that I've learned over the years. So my materials and tools would be gun oil, that's that right there. A microfiber cloth, and just any old rag, cotton rag. A choke, it's what goes in the end of the barrel. A brass brush is what is used to clean the grime inside of the barrels. This is the rod that you push the brushes into the barrel with. And this is the cotton that you clean out of all the grime out of the barrel with. And this is the stock of the gun. This is the butt of the gun, but this whole piece is the stock. This is the trigger, obviously, and this is the firing chamber. You can, I don't know if you can see this, but these two pins right there are the ejection pins, and those are also a very crucial part to this firing chamber. And then behind that, these two circles right there, those are the two firing pins that'll set off both of the shells in the two barrels. Moving along to the barrels, there is two barrels on an over-under. There's a top and a bottom. Both are the same, but you can have different sized chokes on them, and chokes are what determines how much the spread is or how tight the spread is of the bullet spray. So an important thing to keep in mind is that you must take off the chokes before you start cleaning the gun. And I have a tool, but you can do it by hand. But I have a tool to remove it, so let's do that. And I'll just remove one just to give you the gist of it. Alrighty. And that is the choke. So next up, we're going to look inside of the barrel and see how much grime is in there and determine if we need the brass to break up any grime that's in there. As of right now, it's very clean, but let's just assume that it's not. You would attach the brush to the end of this pole and then continue with sticking it, with the brush being right here, sticking it down in there and just going back and forth and removing and breaking up all that grime. After you're done with that, you want to attach the cotton brush to the rod, and you want to do the same thing to clean all that grind out, and that rag will do it, or this cotton brush will do that. Next up, it's smart to keep your gun oiled to avoid rust. So what I like to do is I like to get a little bit of this oil and put it on this rag right here. And then I wrap the rag around my cotton brush, just like that. And I attach it, and then I oil the inside of my barrel. When I'm done with that, I'm going to grab a wet rag. Let's say this one's wet, and I'm going to wipe down my whole barrel and remove all grease and oil from my hands or whatnot. After that, I'm going to dry it off with a microfiber cloth until there are no marks or no wet spots. After that, I'm going to move on to the stock of the gun. The stock of the gun is the back. Like I said earlier in the video, this is the butt of the gun. Firing trigger and firing chamber. Firing pins and ejection pins. So what you want to do first is determine if there's much grime in there and what you should use to get it out. It's usually best to use just a rag, but when there's not really much in there, you just want to use a microfiber cloth and just to get any dust that's in there. Let's do that. Make sure all that old oil is off of there. And also get the trick to remove any oils from your fingers. After that, you want to determine if the stock of the gun or the butt of the gun is dirty and it has oil on it and needs to be wiped down. It does not need to be wiped right down right now, but if it would, I would wet this microfiber cloth and I would wipe the whole butt of the gun down until I feel that I've gotten the grease off. After that, I would grab a dry rag and I would wipe off all the water just so it wouldn't mess up the wood on the gun. After that, I would finish with getting a Q-tip and cleaning out in the little creases of my gun and getting all that dirt out of there, that grime. And after that, the only thing left to do is to oil the gun. I'm gonna try to get a little bit closer here just to show y'all. This gun does need to be oiled, so I'll show it to you right now. So the first thing you need to do is in the firing pins, there's 2 of them in the front, put 1 drop of oil in each of them and get a piece of metal likewise and push it in and out till that oil gets all rubbed in there. Right. After that, you want to grab some oil, maybe put it on your fingers and just rub it on those firing pins. Like that. And then you want to finish off by putting a couple drops inside the firing chamber and in some of the joints. And then you want to wipe that all down with a rag to ensure that there's no big gaps or clumps of oil. After that, I would finish with wiping the gun down, and I would use a microfiber cloth with that. All over-unders can be a little bit different, but I'm going to show you how to put back together the Beretta 694. So there's 2 main parts to the gun. There's the barrel and the stock, obviously. So you want to attach the butt of the gun at about a 90-degree angle, and then it fits right into that little pin, and it just clicks in. Once you attach the barrel and the stock, you want to grab the grip, and you want to fit it in there likewise, and clip it in. And now the proper way to store an over-under would be chamber open. So to ensure that there is no way of pulling the trigger, because you can't pull barrels open. It is very frowned upon when people have their over-unders closed and walking around, because there is no way to know that if there's a bullet in there or not. So always keep in mind, keep the barrel broken, just like that. I hope that you learned any tips or strategies that I use, and I hope that it is easier for you to clean your gun in the future. Thank you again.